Welcome back to the show, everybody. Take a look at these numbers while I give you the headlines. We got Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple in the news. We got Tom Emmer and Michael S. Barr, former Ripple advisor, that is testifying in front of Elizabeth Warren for the VP chair spot at the Federal Reserve. That and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a lot to get into this morning. It is May 20th, 2022. Good morning to everybody. $1.351 trillion market cap, ladies and gentlemen. 30,000 plus for Bitcoin, 2,000 plus right now for Ethereum. XRP at number 6 spot is 42 cents. We're up 10.5% on the 7-day. Half of that is really on the last 24 hours. But we are going to look at some technical analysis before we get out of here today, and it may put ice water in some of your veins. So be prepared for that, and it's always good to know the ups and downs of where we are. But right now, we're up 5.62% on the price, 41 cents on the bottom, 44 on the top. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, right here. It's Masterworks, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at it. Fine art. You can buy in for $20 a share. That's what we're talking about. For the first time in the history of mankind, you can invest like I'm doing in the world's nicest fine art and the best, most expensive fine art. And I'm invested in this right here. I'm invested in the Banksy. I'm invested in so much the Christopher Wool stuff, Pablo Picasso right there. I'm loving this, especially understanding that the market right now for crypto is highly volatile. Right? And we don't know if we're going to be in a bear market. We don't know how long the case will go. But this is something that is very, very comforting to me, because I can get the kind of returns that smash the S&P 500 right now as an alternative investment. And you can too. Make sure you check out the link underneath the video. Let's get into it. The news this morning. Brad Garlinghouse retweets what we covered yesterday about Ripple committing $100 million investment to modernize carbon credits globally through investing in carbon removal companies and supporting growth in carbon credit tokenization functionality. He says, hear me out. NFTs aren't just about digital art. Well said, Brad Garlinghouse. And I throw the nod in there. You're damn right. Now let's take a look at this, because we've got a lot to go over today. This was a party that none of us got to go to, but it's at the Ripple House on the yacht there, and they're having a good time. Now, there's a lot of bad stuff going on right now. Luna was smashed and crashed, right? We know that. And then we also saw, I think overnight, I saw some posts about Strong having trouble now as well. You know, there's a lot coming here, and before we get out of here today, I think we're going to talk about how we actually get there, and it's going to be a mess before we do. Right here is from Linda P. Jones. The BRICS nation aligned long ago to bypass the SWIFT system and U.S. dollar. That is for damn sure. It says they're now recruiting more countries. As China's foreign minister says, China proposed to begin the process of expanding BRICS coalition, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa up until this point. Now, I also covered yesterday about how we are seeing the move to central banks and SWIFT. We're going to get to that in just a second, but the BIS goes all in for central bank digital currencies. There's no surprise here, right? Because they've been running the BIS Innovation Hub, doing multiple tests of different scenarios, one of which is a multi CBDC system with a bridge, obviously, and I do believe that XRP can play a role in that. Not financial advice. Covered this yesterday very quickly about SWIFT collaborating with Capgemini. And if you're not aware, we know that, you know, this all comes down to SWIFT, Capgemini, R3 Corda, and R3 Corda Settler on that R3 Corda platform gives the option to use XRP for settlement. A lot of people say, but there's XDC now. XDC, as Quincy Jones had explained it to us, is smart contracts on the network. XRP allows it to settle off-chain insane, is the way he described it back in the day. So they're more like a complement to one another. Good things are coming, even though the market is responding poorly in price. And I understand that, and I feel like I understand it. If I'm wrong, I'm going to have to make a video about that too. And you know what? I don't have a problem doing it. If that's what happens, that's what happens. But it's not financial advice. My digital perspectives are that everything from the institutional level, everyone from the institutional level, I should say, are moving in and setting up in this space. And they are not bothered by the price. And I'm always reminded by Glenn Hutchins, who says the value is in the protocol. The price of the token is a distraction and uninformative. And right here, speaking about uninformative, there's been a lot of talk lately, especially from Elizabeth Warren, who you were about to hear from, because Michael S. Barr, former Ripple advisor, is testifying, and he has been nominated, and we're waiting for him to get confirmed, and it went well yesterday for him. I would expect that he gets confirmed for the VP spot of the Federal Reserve Chair, and he will oversee stablecoins. Stay tuned on that. More to come on that in a second. But right here, we find that Tether all of a sudden now wants to tell everybody what they're doing, where yesterday they said they got a secret sauce they didn't want to reveal. The report declared that the consolidated total assets amount to at least $82.4 billion. However, just 5% of that total is in cash reserves, with a figure totaling $4.1 billion. The majority of it, or $39.2 billion, is in treasury bills, says Tether. Well, I tell you, they are in the gun sights, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday, so was Michael S. Barr, and I think he did a really great job. Former advisor to Ripple, former U.S. Treasury member. Don't forget, while we're going to take a look at all of this, that, you know, so many people have come through Ripple and are still there, actually, including Rosie Rios and Susan Friedman, from the Treasury. And I do not think that that is an accident, just like I do not think that Michael S. Barr is sitting at this table looking to be confirmed for the VP chair spot at the Federal Reserve is mutually exclusive either. Let's take a listen here. There's a lot in here, and I want to start with, first, let me move it up, because
last week, the cryptocurrency.
She sets the stage with the last week the crash happened with U.S. Terra. We get it. Let's get her up to this spot right here, and then let you listen. You're going to want all of this. There's things in here we need to be aware of. Take a listen.
Protection in other financial markets. So, Mr. Barr, if I can, let's start with you.
Yeah. Now that I've loaded the stage with what I want you to be able to answer to, it's amazing.
If I bought a company's stock, even the most hyped up, junkiest one listed on the New York Stock Exchange, could I be reasonably confident that the company is following basic rules that protect against fraud, insider trading, and sloppy cybersecurity protocols?
Thank you, Senator Warren. The area of jurisdiction obviously is within the expertise of the SEC, but I think that is a reasonable basis for concluding that.
Okay, so there would be that protection.
Well, so now let me just stop right there, because just for a quick second, that falls under the SEC, right? Pointing to exchanges. What has Gary Gensler said he's going to be doing? Going after the exchanges. They all need to come in and register with him. Keep listening.
Because right now, stablecoin and crypto token users aren't getting that same protection. Now, some stablecoin boosters claim they're safe because their stablecoins are backed by real assets like treasuries and cash, not fake tokens and an algorithm. But during last week's market turmoil, Tether, the world's largest stablecoin market cap, broke its dollar peg. And that was scary, because it's an open secret that Tether is not actually backed one-to-one by treasuries and cash like it claims. So, Mr. Lizarga, let me turn to you. If you invested in a money market fund, would you generally have confidence that the fund was actually backed by the liquid, high-quality assets that it claimed it was?
Really quickly, he's a nominee for the SEC as well as Udea, I believe is his name. Keep listening.
Thank you, Senator. Yes, SEC rules require money market funds to disclose their assets and to have those disclosures audited by independent third parties.
Yeah. All right, and now let's compare that to stable coins. Are stable coins currently providing audited disclosures that allow verification that they're backed by quality assets?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
No. And in fact, asked why they wouldn't produce audited financial disclosures, Tether's executive said it's because they don't want to spill their, quote, secret sauce. I believe them. Tether doesn't want investors to know what is and what is not backing up this so-called stable coin. And
very quickly, before she turns and comes back to Michael S. Barr, I think that is the crosshairs and the shot across the bow that says, "You're next, USDTether," right? I believe I have said this for a long time now. The USD coin, I believe, is the unofficial, official U.S. stable coin for the United States of America. Everything else is going to be shut down. That's how I'm seeing it, or it's going to be a high risk hold if you are holding it. Take a look.
that is a gigantic red flag. So I'm going to do this really fast. Let me do one more. Mr. Ueda, if you wanted to buy stock for a company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, could you be reasonably confident that the exchange wasn't trading against you or had other conflicts of interest that could put you at a disadvantage?
Yes, exchanges have to have policies to mitigate or eliminate any conflicts of interest.
Okay, very much unlike what happens in stablecoins. So, any investment involves risk. That's how markets work. But a market without rules is theft. And right now, regular investors in stablecoins and crypto aren't getting the baseline protections available in other financial markets. Count the ways that consumers can be cheated. No basic protections to protect against fraud, no review of cybersecurity, no audited financial disclosures, no protection against conflicts of interest, no cop on the beat to police market manipulation. There's not even any assurance that the other person on the end of a transaction isn't a terrorist, a money launderer, or a Russian oligarch on the sanctioned list.
And while you're on your high horse, Elizabeth Warren, Senator, that's because you and everyone else in Congress haven't done your job. Isn't it amazing that we get a talking to from the very person who has not done their job?
I understand the three of you may differ on how to regulate the crypto market, but addressing these kinds of risks will be your responsibility. So while Congress is working to set up guardrails on crypto, I urge you to use the tools you already have at your disposal to protect investors, to protect our financial system, and to protect our economy overall.
That's going to do it for her in the grandstanding, her soapbox moment. It's disgusting. It is her job. She's talking to all of us as if somehow we're the problem here. Bitcoin was invented in 2009? They've had since 2009 to come in and regulate this space, and they haven't done it yet. Oh, it's so disgusting. It really is. This is so disgusting. All right, so let's not get our needles stuck here. Michael S. Barr is going to play a huge role in stablecoins. What we saw out of this was the activation on crypto, or not crypto, but on stablecoins and crypto exchanges. That's where the two big bottlenecks are, coming on and off using dollars that are not actual fiat dollars, and coming on and off the centralized points of cryptocurrency, which is not so decentralized because we all go to exchanges to buy, sell, hold, and trade. Boom. They know exactly where to go, and they haven't done it for years, but now they're getting ready to. And you have to wonder if former advisor Michael S. Barr, do you believe that former Ripple advisor Michael S. Barr, formerly of the Treasury, is sitting here in this seat getting ready to be confirmed, hopefully, knowing full well that stable coins are going to be a huge issue on his desk? Do you think all those things are mutually exclusive? I don't. And I don't think this is either. Just like the World Bank talking about the fact that on page 38 or 39 here, that they are talking and discussing that right here, 39, excuse me. It's right here. Now, guess what else is considered stable coins by the World Bank? It's XRP and XLM. Now, what do you suppose, for the levity and for the sake of stability, financial stability, Michael S. Barr just may find that he agrees with the World Bank? But before we go any further, let's take a listen to Tom Emmer and hear the right side of the aisle and what he says.
Fast forward to this past December, we had Republicans and Democrats both complaining about Gary Gensler at the SEC. And I mean, you can see what's happening. Yeah. So as this grows on the Democrat side, and I'm happy to call out names and give them compliments, but that will that should mute the ignorant comments of another member that just refuses to learn this stuff. Let's forget the substance of it for a second. But when President Biden issued that executive order for the working group to start coordinating all the different agencies, thank God. It's about time. Now, the details, not as big a fan, but we don't have to agree on everything, right? The concept of getting all of these agencies to actually start talking about how they might function together is a good thing. I also love, and forgive me, this is a little chip on my shoulder, maybe as an old hockey player taking a shot as I go by, but Gary Gensler was excluded, as you might recall, in the order. They did not give him any job at all. Unfortunately, he's shown he doesn't care. He's just moving forward without any concept of working together with the administration. I don't know if you noticed, he just doubled the size of his cyber unit, and he's going to use them. I think he added 20, so almost doubled it. He's up to 50 enforcement
50,
folks.
That's correct.
And you better expect they're going to start coming after crypto folks in the very near future.
And that's absolutely right. Shout out to Darren J. Moore for that one. Give him a follow. But here's the interesting thing. He's absolutely right. The SEC is not cited in the executive order. It is the U.S. Treasury and FSOC, ladies and gentlemen. And you know I've been talking about FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Council, for over 2 years about systemic risk. And I think we're going to see them weigh in on it. That's the plan. Remember, not long ago, Elizabeth Warren activated the U.S. Treasury and FSOC when she was grilling Nellie Liang to do something about stable coins before they actually become a systemic risk. And lo and behold, we saw U.S. Terra crash. Lo and behold, we saw the peg get slipped from USDTether. And now it's in the crosshairs. But then wait, there's more than you see here. But in the president's working group that was in November of last year, which is the PWG, which makes recommendations towards this, what came from that, which is the executive order. And guess who's smack dab in the middle of it? It's the SEC and the CFTC, right? And that's not all there, because if you look into this, I believe it is right here. If you come down into this, and I think I have it right here, to the extent of activity related to digital assets falls under the jurisdiction of the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, and the Commodities Futures Trade Commission. The SEC and the CFTC have broad enforcement, rulemaking, and oversight authorities that may address certain of these concerns. It says digital asset trading platforms and DeFi. See that for more. So the reason I believe that Tom Emmer is right, that he has been, Gary Gensler's been excluded from the executive order, I believe that the president's working group has given him his marching orders. And ever since then, he has been a ball of fire going after all of the exchanges and all of digital assets. And when you think about the fact that everyone says there's a turf war, there is not a turf war. I don't see a turf war, because we heard Rostin Bennett himself, the head of the CFTC, say that there is alignment between the SEC and CFTC, and they're working together. And they always use this phrase, too. Before we look at this analysis, I want to say this, because they always use this phrase. They say, we believe half the market should be the CFTC and half the market could go to Gary Gensler. Well, they're talking about market cap. and half the market cap is Bitcoin and Ethereum being commodities. That would go to the CFTC. The other 98% of the market would go to Gary Gensler, and they would become certainly digital asset securities, which is why I believe the executive order can come in and deal with stable coins and provide an escape hatch for what just may become XRP and XLM as a stable coin, certainly for cross-border payments and even the settlement of the derivatives market back end. We shall see how this shakes out. Just like we're going to see how this price shakes out right here. In this, you're going to hear some really tough talk about where this price could go. Take a look here. We could be looking at a double top, of sorts. No longer the cup and handle because we've lost the EMAs here. Take a quick listen from CoinsKit.
Time frame. This is what I think XRP is looking for right now. Okay, I think that you're coming down. I do think you're going to get some kind of relief rally because you're getting really overextended from these EMAs. You see this, you're in a death cross right now, which is not a nice thing. Look, you got the death cross just there. You came down, you bounced, and you rallied into it as resistance, and then you continue to fizzle out and roll. So it's really important. Two key levels of support for me right now. One is this low that you're putting in December. Okay, because if you start to lose that, I do think you're potentially putting in a reversal wave here. Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on this going forward, and this here is your most important level of support for me for XRP.
And basically what he's saying here is we could come all the way down. Even if we see some surge in price, it could come up and test these EMA lines again, and just like it did here, and it couldn't poke through and get above them, right? And then keep on tracing down. If that trend does happen, you're going to see the 27 get hit. If we continue to roll down, you're going to see 17 become support. And if we lose that, we could come back to this level and hit 11 cents. Now listen, you got to know what you hold to really make it through moments like this. I am not trying to convince anyone. I'm sharing my digital perspectives. I will continue to accumulate. Again, not financial advice, but I know what I hold. I understand the moment that this market is in. And if they are dumb enough to allow me to continue to accumulate, I'm smart enough to do it. That's just me and my digital perspectives, not financial advice. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I'll catch all of you on the next one.